Broadcasting live from somewhere in the Shadow Realm, this is YuGiOh Deck Talk. Here's your host, Doug Dimmadul.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of YuGiOh Deck Talk. Today, I want to just take a look at a few basic pendulum concepts that we could end up implementing in quite a few decks. I know that pendulums are going to be one of the things that are going to be targeted and affected with the upcoming link summoning rules, but I don't know, just a lot of the mechanics of the pendulum system, as far as the way that things currently are in the current format, that you could actually, you could be very effective with putting together some kind of pendulum type deck. I know that DDDs are pretty good, and of course as well, the one that you're seeing more often than not are the Metalfoes pieces. So I just want to take a look at things from a monster standpoint right now, and this is just kind of going to be more of a pendulum utility type of tool that you could go in so many different directions just with this foundation, and I think this is why you're seeing specifically Metalfoes being such a popular tool to use with the pendulums, just because of their scales right now as well. So if you're not familiar, there's a few pieces. You have Metalfoes Silvered, and it's a level 3, 1700 attack, 100 defense. Its pendulum scale is 1. And its pendulum effect is once per turn you could target one other face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, set one Metalfoes spell or trap card directly from your deck. So, and with all the Metalfoes monsters, they have their own set of Metalfoes spells and traps and everything that you could really get some good combos going with them. And you'll see that same pendulum effect for all these Metalfoes monsters. So then you have Metalfoes Gold Driver, and it is a level 4, 1900 attack, 500 defense. It's normal, but its pendulum scale is 1 as well. Its effect is the same thing. Once per turn, target one other face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, set one Metalfoes spell or trap card directly from your deck. So those are your two pendulum scale 1s that will really allow you to just about pendulum summon just about anything in your hand if you have a high pendulum scale on the other end of things. So that's why you have Metalfoes Stealin that comes into play, and Metalfoes Volflame. So with Metalfoes Stealin, it's a level 2, 0 attack, 2100 defense, and it's another normal, and its pendulum scale is an 8, and it's got the same effect as all the others as far as the pendulum effect goes. And then you have Metalfoes Volflame, which is a level 7. It's got 2400 attack, 2000 defense, and its pendulum scale is 8 as well. So all 4 of those, if you run multiple copies, hopefully you're able to get the scale that you need to start really pendulum summoning as many monsters as you can from your hand, or if there's any face-up pendulum monsters that are sitting there in your extra deck right now as well, you're able to bring those out on the field. And that's why that 1 to 8 scale pretty much opens up just a whole world of possibilities, and that's why I kind of want to keep today as more of a generic tool-based set here, because there's just so many ways you could go with it, and just one example that I'm going to use are just more utility pendulum cards that I personally don't mind adding to a pendulum deck with Metalfoes as well, just because of the levels involved and also their pendulum scales. But seeing as you have a pendulum scale of 1 to 8, that means any monster in between, so I guess levels 2 through level 7, you're able to special summon with your pendulum summoning mechanic. So with that in mind, one card that I personally like a lot, especially given the current format of how things are and how heavily reliant people are with summoning monsters from their extra deck, is the Amorphage Sloth. It is a level 6. It's got a pendulum scale of 3. It's got 2250 attack, so 2250 attack, 0 defense. Its pendulum effect is while you control an Amorphage monster, neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them. Once per turn, during your standby phase, tribute one monster or destroy this card. So its pendulum effect, it's got that drawback of requiring a cost to keep it in the pendulum zone. I don't necessarily plan on using this one as a scale card to use, but I like its actual effect, its monster effect. And its effect is neither player can special summon monsters from the extra deck except Amorphage monsters. So what that could do is, if you're running a Pendulum deck where you're not necessarily heavily relying on what's sitting around in your extra deck, but you know that your opponent has a lot of Xyz summons or a lot of synchros or fusion monsters that they're relying on, this could really shoot them in the foot if you have an Amorphage Sloth out there pretty early on in your game before your opponent can start doing any combos. So this could throw a wrench into their strategy, or they'll have to kind of tweak a few things to get where they want to go. But that's why for this card, I definitely like using that as one of the monsters to be summoned onto the field. Now, another one here is Archfiend Eccentric. It's a level 3, 800 attack, 1000 defense monster. It has a pendulum scale of 7, and its pendulum effect is you can target one other spell or trap card on the field, destroy both it and this card. You can only use this effect of Archfiend Eccentric once per turn. So that's a pretty good effect as well. If there's a spell or trap that you're trying to get rid of, drop this in your pendulum zone, use that effect, and just go from there. So the actual monster effect involved with this card is you contribute this card, then target one monster on the field, destroy it. You can only use this effect of Archfiend Eccentric once per turn. This is a really good utility tool as far as a pendulum goes, where you could use that pendulum effect to get rid of a spell or trap, or you could use that monster effect to get rid of a pesky monster that you possibly don't want on the field at the time. And it doesn't even require any type of pendulum summoning if your board is clean at the moment, because it's only a level 3. So you could summon it and use its effect to tribute, and you leave your board open at that point. But depending on the situation, Archfiend Eccentric is just all around a good pendulum card for both its pendulum effect and its monster effect. So highly recommend that one in just about any pendulum deck if you have room for it. If it's it could do some good damage there. Now, one other pendulum monster that I like here is Aether, the Evil Empowering Dragon. It is a level 6 dragon, 2300 attack, 1600 defense. Its pendulum scale is 4. Now, its pendulum effect is once per turn, you can banish one empowered warrior monster from your graveyard, then target one card on the field, destroy it. So if you have other empowered warriors in your in your graveyard at the time or anything like that, then take advantage of that effect. But its monster effect is when this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one monster on the field and banish it. So if you have your scale set up 1 to 8, since this is a level 6, you could always pendulum summon this monster. Since it is special summoned, then you could target one monster on the field and banish it. So, man, this pendulum monster has a really good set of effects built into it as well. I would, at least in my builds, I tend to lean more towards relying on its actual monster effect than its pendulum effect, because I don't run too many other empowered warriors along with that deck. Now, I know there is Dragonox, the Empowered Warrior. I know that's a level 4, 1500 attack, 1500 defense, and it's got a scale of 7. And when its pendulum effect is when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can destroy this card, then end the battle phase. So it kind of acts like a battle phaser, or or a negate attack, anything like that. So, that's always a good utility one to have in your deck as well. And its monster effect is once per turn, you can discard one card, then target one warrior or a spellcaster type monster with 2000 or less attack in your graveyard, special summon it in face down position. So, I don't know. It's a pretty good card as well. But these are just some of the utility cards that can really mesh well in certain pendulum decks. I highly recommend them. And the one thing too that pairs very well with all of these Metalfoes monsters, since they are normal type monsters, they're all searchable using the spell card Painful Decision. What Painful Decision does is you send one level 4 or lower normal monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, add one card with the same name as that card from your deck to your hand, and you can only activate one Painful Decision per turn. So, say you're getting a hand that you feel is pretty clogged. Maybe you're getting too many Metalfoes Silvereds and Gold Drivers, which they're all having the pendulum scale of 1, and you're just looking for something with a pendulum scale 8. Use this Painful Decision card, search out a Metalfoes Steelin. Yeah, you got to put one in the graveyard, but then you get one into your hand, so then you're able to set your pendulum scale pretty effectively. Then you have your 1 and your 8, and if you have any other cards in there that you wanted to special summon in your pendulum summon, you're in good shape to do so. So what I like to do as well, and I'm just kind of playing around with the idea, is add a few throwback monsters that I always enjoyed too. I know it's not going to do too well in the in the competitive arena, so to speak, but I'm going to have a little fun with it at locals. But I want to add some cards like YuGiOh, because I know that's a level 6. In case you have a trap heavy deck that you're going up against, stuff like that. It's just one of those things when you have the Metalfoes monsters out there, you set real good pendulum scales, and you could do a lot of damage setting up the field with those scales. So anyway, this was more just of a like I said, a general idea as to what you could possibly build on the pendulum front with these with some of these cards. So I'm curious to know what kind of builds you guys are doing with pendulums. Personally, within local tournaments, I have not seen all that many pendulum decks. I'm not really seeing them being played too much. So that's why I'm curious to see what you guys find is most effective on your end with your pendulum monsters and with your pendulum style decks. So if you have any comments you want to add to it, feel free to reach out on Twitter at YuGiOh Deck Talk. It's all one word, at YuGiOh Deck Talk, and I'll be happy to address some of your comments and stuff in an upcoming podcast. So with that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Join us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/YuGiOh Deck Talk. Tell us about the decks you want to see broken down and analyzed. Discuss strategy and new cards. Meet other duelists. It's all on the YuGiOh Deck Talk Facebook page. Like it today.